What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Tuesday, November 23rd. We actually have a lot of very big news that's coming out today. We're going to talk about how President Biden is going to release 50 million barrels of oil, which is going to make gas cheaper. So that is good news. We're going to dive into the stimulus package update. I want to explain what is going on, where Democrats are at, where Senator Joe Manchin is at, and what we could potentially see over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to also talk about how Senator Joe Manchin actually wants to see help for Social Security and Medicare, and that prioritized over expanding certain programs. I'll address that. We're also going to talk about how there's a warning to shoppers. So if you plan on going out for Black Friday, plan on shopping over the next few weeks, or even over the next month, just understand the expectation is we could see a lot of delays, we could see long lines, and we could see a lot less help from customer service. We're also going to talk about how the United States has now surpassed the COVID deaths from 2020 in just 2021. So I'll address all that in today's video. First off, I just want to thank you guys for continuing to support the channel, always hitting that like button, and making sure you comment down in the comment section below with any questions that you have so that I can address those in an upcoming video. So let's get into the update for today. First off, this morning it was announced that President Biden is going to release 50 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. This is the SPR. This is going to go along with China, India, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and the United Kingdom. They're all going to tap their reserves in order to have some type of coordinated effort to drive down prices globally. This is not just a problem that we are seeing here in the United States. This is a global problem. Now, Americans continue to say that the prices at the pumps are what is concerning them the most. When you talk to or you hear certain lawmakers speak, most of them are saying that, well, my constituents are worried about the prices at the pumps. The voters are worried about, their wallets. They're getting hit hard because of gas prices. Some say they can't go to work because of how much it costs to fill up their tank. Well, even though economists believe that passing the $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill, this human infrastructure bill that's currently sitting in the Senate, even though they believe this would raise prices even more, here's what we're hearing. The White House says that it will not increase prices and it won't affect inflation. But from what we know, increasing the amount of oil supply that we have by 50 million barrels, that's actually going to reduce the cost of gas per gallon. So even though this $1.75 trillion bill could raise the price of gas per gallon by including that 50 million gallons of oil or barrels of oil, that's actually going to bring the price back down. So this is, according to experts, this is what we will see, but this increase from passing the bill is not going to be easily seen because we're including an additional 50 million barrels of oil. So we'll see what happens there, but the expectation is, and at least according to reports this morning, this is all good news. So this could mean that we're going to see gas prices come down fairly quickly. Hopefully that's the case. If it is, great, because I know a lot of people are struggling just to put food on the table because they got to put gas in their tank just to go to work. So it's creating a whole big issue. Now, according to multiple senators, let's talk about what Senator Joe Manchin is doing. According to them, Senator Joe Manchin is all for stabilizing Social Security. However, he doesn't want to see paid leave when Social Security and Medicare are on the verge of insolvency. Now, what I can tell you, Medicare is a little bit closer than Social Security. Social Security, I think, is expected like 2034, 2036, somewhere around that area. But right now they say that he doesn't want to expand Medicare when he says shoring up the system should take precedence. He doesn't want to see paid leave when he says Social Security and Medicare are so close to insolvency. And it's because of this that he wants to ensure that the programs are shored up first. He wants to make sure that the talks are on Let's fix the programs. Let's make sure that they can provide for the American people for more than just 5 to 10 years. Let's make sure that they're giving the American people exactly what they were promised. So we will see, but right now, some lawmakers say let's expand the programs first, then we'll come back and we'll shore up the programs later. But Joe Manchin says, no, we shore it up first, then we can expand. So, according to lawmakers, they are saying that Senator Joe Manchin isn't a bad guy for looking at legislation this way, but they say they wish Senator Joe Manchin would see legislation from their point of view, from the American people's point of view, where let's expand benefits first, then we'll pay for them later. So, right now, according to many, this is why it's so important. And some say it's important to provide more benefits now to prove to the American people that we are on their side. So again, it's going to come down to the vote. Do the American people, will they vote Democrat if benefits are expanded first and then later on we go to try to shore up the systems? Or should we shore up the systems first? That's not as sexy as of a plan is creating more benefits, but it is a plan. So we'll see what happens. Now, I do want to address one thing though when it comes to Social Security. Many people keep on saying that Social Security is something that they need every single month in order to live off of. And if in the next 10 years Social Security isn't there and it goes broke, how are they going to survive? Well, here's what I can tell you. Social Security is not going to go broke. I can tell you that in the 1970s. I believe it was like around the 1970s sometime. Americans were being told that Social Security wasn't going to be there for them. It just wasn't going to be there. But now, 50 years later, Social Security is still here. Social Security is still paying out. That's 50 years ago. Okay, almost 50 years ago that's what Americans were being told in the 1970s. That no, Social Security will not be there for you. But just to give you an idea, what's expected right now is yes, Social Security, if it is insolvent, in let's say 2034, the expectation is you're not going to get 100% of your benefits. You're going to get close to like 75%. So even though benefits are going to keep going up, just understand, at some point, they could come dropping back down to about 75% of what you're actually supposed to get, your actual benefit, because that's all they can afford. So just keep that in mind. You will still get something, but it might not be exactly what you were told. So just keep that in mind. If you have questions on that, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Now, let's talk about the infrastructure bill. Right now, there's a lot of talks that certain pieces of legislation are going to get cut from this upcoming infrastructure bill. And I want to explain which piece of legislation could get cut. I'm not even going to address what could get added in because honestly, right now, we don't know, right? But here's what I can tell you. 4 weeks of paid family leave could be cut. 4 weeks. It's already been cut from 12 weeks down to 4. The last 4 weeks could be cut. Here's the reason why. Senator Joe Manchin, first off, he wants to see Social Security and Medicare, he wants to see those shored up. That should take precedence according to him. Well, here's something else. Senator Manchin believes, and he says he wants to see a payroll tax on workers and employers. He wants to see the payroll tax for workers and employers, not make this a federally funded program. He doesn't believe 4 weeks of paid medical leave should fall on the government, should be their responsibility. So, we'll see. The SALT tax deduction of $80,000, this could get cut, and here's the reason why. Senators Bennett, Tester, and Sanders all say that this is not the bill to include a deduction, a tax deduction for the rich. We are trying to make the rich pay their fair share, and then by giving them a tax deduction elsewhere, it doesn't make sense. So, just give you an idea, just because a lot of people say, well, what does Senator Joe Manchin think? Well, here's the problem. In 2017, Senator Joe Manchin voted once against the SALT tax deduction, and then he voted in favor of it. So, that's the problem. He could go either way. we don't know which way Senator Joe Manchin is going to fall here, but 3 senators are already saying no. And again, it only takes 1 senator to say no, and this would actually cause the bill not to pass. So if 3 are saying no, that could be a very big deal. This might not be included. Also, expanding Medicare. We know multiple senators want to include dental, vision, and hearing. Right now, it's just hearing. That's a problem. And in a poll recently that was done, the American people were asked, would you rather lose dental, vision, or hearing? Okay. Now, most people said hearing is the most important thing, or vision is the most important thing. Okay. Now, this doesn't pertain to Medicare. This simply pertains to what if you lost any of your senses. And now, dental would be taste, but was it taste, sight, touch, or hearing? Okay. One of the main one was people wanted to make sure they could see. So that was the first one, to see. That was the biggest one. So right now, even though hearing is the only thing that's been included, some say this could be cut. Okay, it could be cut. We might not see it get even more expanded. It might be cut entirely. So we'll see what happens there. And if this gets cut, honestly, I don't know where Senator Bernie Sanders would stand, if he'd vote against this entire bill or not. So we'll see. The other big one is the $35 per month cap to insulin. Senator Bernie Sanders really fought for this one. He spent a whole weekend. Now you're probably thinking that's not very long, but he spent a weekend trying to negotiate this, bring down prescription drug costs, and he was able to do that. He got this included. Sanders, he did this. It was all him. But according to reports, the Senate parliamentarian could drop this from the bill due to strict budgetary rules. And that's not the only one. Immigration, $100 billion for immigration. According to many, right now, this is another part of the bill that could be dropped by the Senate parliamentarian. However, the House Democrats are telling the Senate to simply ignore the Senate parliamentarian, Elizabeth McDonough, and just move forward with their bill as it stands. So we'll see if the Senate does this, but my expectation is no, they will not. So we'll see what happens, but as I know more there, promise I'll fill you in on that update as soon as we get it. But let's talk about shopping. Right now, we are days away from a very big part of the year. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? We got all these things coming up. We're 1, 2, 3 days away from Black Friday. So yes, people are going to be going shopping. Now, let me know down in the comment section below, if you are going shopping, what is the number one thing you are looking for? What is it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, one thing that I always buy, for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, it's something that most people don't really think of, or it's not something that they look at. Everyone's buying TVs and electronics and new phones and cameras and all this great stuff, right? Awesome. What I always buy is sheets. I love buying sheets, comforters. When I go to sleep, I want to sleep. I just want everything to be perfect. So I spend hours doing research and I buy the best sheets that I can find. So that's what I do for Black Friday. Is every single year I buy sheets for my bed. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But again, let me know what you guys are looking for. Now, here's a reason why experts are saying shopping is going to be different this season. Here's why. Experts say that yes, items will be on sale. However, these sale items will go extremely quick. So it's not just something for Black Friday. You go into Walmart, it's like, oh, there it is. Let's go pick it up. No, that's not the expectation. The expectation is items are going to go fast. Many people have a lot more money than they have been saying. Bank accounts are filled with cash. So that is good. But if you spend all your money on items you do not need, that might not be the best solution. Right now, experts are also saying getting restocks into stores could potentially take weeks. So if we're into December, let's say middle December, and you are looking for an item, if you hear there's going to be a restock on a certain day, certain time, make sure you show up because if you don't, those items could go very quickly. Also, they are warning consumers to expect extremely long lines and very limited help, that they're not going to have the workers. Right now, we're in the midst of a worker shortage. We have a supply chain issue. And according to Bankrate.com, they say Americans are likely to go into massive debt, credit card debt, in order to buy stuff for their families this holiday season. So that's it's very interesting what we're seeing, that Americans have more cash sitting on the sidelines right now. However, Bankrate.com expects the American people are going to go into massive credit card debt this holiday season. So we'll see what happens there, and as I know more, I promise I will share more. But let's get into COVID. Let's talk about COVID for a second. Let's have a little COVID update. Here's the thing that you need to understand. In a recent poll, about 74% of Americans have said that their lives have gone back to normal. And this is in spite of a recent surge in COVID cases. In Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel, she has said that they are seeing a surge in COVID cases and COVID infections. This is the worst, or this is worse than anything they have seen in the past or experienced so far. As European countries are locking down, though, the U.S. will not. According to White House officials, they say that we can curb the spread of the virus without shutting down our economy. But let me explain something. I want to explain the numbers, because right now this comes as the U.S. Has surpassed last year's total of COVID deaths just this year. We've still got another full month, and again, COVID didn't take place. The problem with COVID right now is that some people say, this is still just the government's way of, controlling people, right? This is just the U.S. trying to do what they always do. Now, I understand the thought process behind that. Do I think that's what's happening? No. This is a serious threat. But here's what we know. Right now, many people say that they have a handle on COVID. That we have a handle on it. But that isn't necessarily the case. Here's what we know. Last year at this time, so last year, we had a 7-day average of 171,000 COVID cases and 1,500 deaths. You're probably thinking, we're so much better than that now. We're doing a whole lot better. Not necessarily. This year, as of yesterday, we currently have a 7-day average of 95,000 COVID cases. That's about half. That's pretty good, right? However, we're also seeing an average 7-day death count of 1,400. So our COVID cases last year were 171,000. This year, 95,000. 7-day average. But the deaths are about the same. 1,500 last year, 1,400 this year. We're not that far away. And so this is despite hospitals understanding how to combat this. When people come in, what do? However, some say it's because of the Delta variant. It was just much more deadly, and we still do not know exactly when this is going to end. So that's why many people are pushing for vaccines. But while we talk about vaccines, let's talk about what the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg had to say. And he says that vaccine mandates for domestic air travel within the United States is not needed. So good news there. This is not something that they're going to push, at least according to reports right now. He stated that vaccines for international travelers is still needed because other countries actually have different standards. And those are not the standards that we abide by here in the United States. He also went on to say that with required masking and required vaccines for travel workers, this has been proven highly effective, and so that is why we do not need to mandate vaccines for domestic air travel. So, good news there. But that is what we know at this time. As I know more, I promise I'll come back on, share all the latest news and updates again. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Do me a favor, hit that like button. If you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing so you can stay up to date on everything that is going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.